There are more than 100 pyramids in Egypt. Thousands more can be found around the world. We learn the ancient Egyptians brought us all knowledge, but history might change.
What they teach us is wrong. This is the biggest pyramid on the planet.
In the southern of Europe, the Bosnian businessman Semir Osmanagic, best known as Sam, claims he has discovered several new pyramids and a vast network of tunnels possibly built by an ancient civilization long forgotten by history and science. Experts all over the world claim Osmanagic is a fraud. He points to research that shows otherwise and claims to change history as we know it. The impressive Egyptian pyramids would fade in the presence of his discovery, and the timeline our children learn in school would be totally wrong. Is this true, or is he responsible for the biggest hoax in history? With limited means, our small crew travels to Bosnia to meet the man who started this European mystery. We'll try to solve the puzzle of the Bosnian pyramids. While driving there, our crew notices that pyramid-shaped hills are not that extraordinary in the Bosnian region. Our crew is there for a full 5 days. 4.5 are scheduled in the company of the pyramid discoverer. Before returning home, they also want one afternoon to visit things for themselves. At this time, it was still unclear which part of the Pyramid Valley would grasp their special attention. At the location, we met up with Sam Osmanagic. He will show us the best places he found.
When I saw this scene, everything was so obvious to me. You have pyramidal shape, you have perfect orientation. These are man-made stone structures.
Our team needed an expert. They contacted Dr. Robert Schoch, a professional geologist who researched the area for about a month.
I heard about the so-called pyramids in Bosnia, and if they were real pyramids, this would be an extremely exciting discovery.
Our crew also turns to the Belgian author and researcher Philip Coppens. His latest book discusses pyramids worldwide.
If the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is genuine, and there is very little doubt in my mind that it isn't, then we are confronted with the highest structure in the world and also the tallest pyramid in the world.
At an early stage, the Belgian researcher Bart Mertens joined our team. He's been writing about the Bosnian pyramids for over 4 years and wanted to go to the area since he first heard of them. This is his chance to see if the pyramids are real or not.
When I knew about those Bosnian pyramids and I made my first research, I said, okay, there is something. There has to be something there.
We find the stone blocks, one on the top of each other. Whoever comes, he can see.
I wanted to see it with my own eyes because a lot of things are written about the Bosnian pyramids. You have the believers, you have the non-believers. I was in between. I wasn't sure that there were pyramids, but I neither would say there aren't any pyramids.
The way to prove it is through the scientific investigation. The only thing that matters is scientific research. We have done satellite analysis, thermal analysis, topographical analysis, archaeological research, satellite radar screening, electromagnetic screening. Inside the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, there are tunnels and chambers.
So why hasn't everyone heard of this research?
Geologists and archaeologists who have never come here claim from their cozy chairs and offices that this is all natural.
I traveled there in the summer of 2006, spent part of July and August studying them firsthand to really see what all the hubbub was about.
From far away they came to visit the home of the Bosnian pyramids, even from the land of the best-known pyramids in the world, Egypt. Their officials sent Dr. Ali Barakat to investigate the site. His conclusion was straightforward. The pyramids are man-shaped hills.
I expected before I came to here that this pyramid, it is natural hill modified by man to be a pyramid. So it was very easy for me to reach a conclusion that these are a pyramid, man-shaped pyramid.
The Egyptian officials of Barakat didn't accept his results, especially this man, Zahi Hawass. He deduces the pyramids to a rubble of stones.
They feel that somehow they will no longer be the oldest or the primary culture which has pyramids.
Semir Osmanagic also believes it's jealousy.
Especially Zahi Hawass was against the project. If only 20% of European tourists, instead of Cairo, come to Bosnia, it will be a couple of $3 billion loss for their economy.
So it's all about the money. But is Egypt really that dependent of its pyramids?
They really are not that important to Egyptian tourism. Egyptian tourism largely depends from people lying on beaches and then taking Nile cruises down the southern part of ancient Egypt.
The Egyptian economy might not depend on its pyramid visitors. In Bosnia, the existence of ancient pyramids could make all the difference. It could lead the country above the remains of their violent war.
I think we should have at least 1 million tourists a year. Once people start coming, they're gonna start spending more money in the restaurants, more tourists will come. So eventually it will be better for everyone.
People quite often say, oh, he's in it for the money. Well, he has given officially more than $500,000 of his own money to this excavation.
I got so excited, I just wanted to dig myself. I've seen these blocks of stone, and it was as if they were made by man hand. I started to read about these books from Semir, and I just started to believe that there is something, because the possibility of something undetected is huge. Bosnia is like a jungle in the center of Europe.
Is it possible that there is a pyramid or a pyramid culture in Bosnia? The answer is yes. All of these things which we have identified about pyramids elsewhere in the world, we've also identified with the pyramids in Bosnia.
On the first site we saw huge blocks of concrete-like material. Sharp edges, 90 degrees thick. It's something special.
This is outside wall of the pyramid. Underneath is layer of clay, because with the clay, in the case of earthquake, the building would not collapse. Under the clay, we have huge blocks of sandstone. All of them are laid out at 35 degrees all the way to the top of the pyramid.
Now, I do think that the Pyramid of the Sun is not necessarily built from every square inch block. I think it's a natural hill into which an awful lot of work was made to reshape it into a pyramid.
This is not shaped hill. This was a structure which was built from the bottom up.
Unlike the Great Pyramid or other pyramids in ancient Egypt, these pyramids are, first of all, older and also sit within a more natural landscape. So people have been planting forests on them. People have been trying to do quite a few things with these structures.
People came and they analyzed the trees. Once we removed the dirt, we could see that the roots could not penetrate the cemented concrete.
We're at the base of the pyramid on the northern side, and this is what we call the concrete blocks of the pyramids. So we're going to ask Sam what we see here on these large, quite large and impressive stone blocks.
This block is approximately 4.5 meters long, 1.5 meters wide, and about 45 centimeters thick. The surface is flat, the side is flat, the bottom is flat. Tectonics cannot make anything like this. Maybe 1 or 2 flat sides, but not 6 of them. And especially not with so many blocks. They are laid next to each other, and they form the same slope. Below the first row of the stone blocks, there is a second row. Below the second one is the third one. Below the third one, there is the fourth one. So you have block one on top of each other. The Mother Nature does not do that.
Not all those blocks were beautiful shaped. At the base, they were correct and so on. So, okay, I didn't have a real huge feeling about it.
Are these the blocks that reshape history and degrade the ancient pharaohs to copycats?
Is it possible that there are pyramids in Bosnia who are thousands of years old? The answer is yes. What really is happening in Bosnia is this: we are confronted with a very old civilization, and that civilization lasted from about 6000 BC to 3500 BC.
Maybe our team will find clues in a nearby vast network of underground tunnels. According to Sam, an ancient civilization, the pyramid builders dug the tunnels. A later civilization discovered the tunnels, and for some reason they filled them up with pebbles and stones from the riverbeds.
There was a civilization that was digging the tunnels. There was another civilization that was filling up the tunnels with material to cover up a secret. I can't believe that, because when you want to block an entrance, you put a wall. You don't fill them up.
When I first entered the tunnels 5 years ago, people called this cave because there was a small narrow tunnel. So I made the decision to enlarge the existing tunnel and then secure it with a wooden support.
Sam is making those tunnels bigger. That was one of my problems when I was there. He always said the tunnels are filled up with material.
They closed all the sections of the tunnels for some specific reason, to hide some big secrets.
When tunnels are filled up with material, I have to see a difference between the fill-up material and the walls. I didn't see that there.
Okay, you watch your head. Up.
Sam chooses what tunnel to dig and which one remains filled up.
Our main goal is to get under the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, because on the topographical map we can see that all those tunnels, they are leveled and they basically come exactly under the pyramid. We're gonna get there, find the underground chambers with the artifacts which will tell us more who, when and why built the tunnels and the pyramids.
Okay, Sam is following the tunnels towards the pyramids, but for me there is no link.
I don't believe there's any connection with the tunnels that I could see with any of the pyramids, or the so-called pyramids.
The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is approximately in this direction. One tunnel is here, it comes at 45 degrees to the main tunnel. The other one is there, it comes at 90 degrees. Now we know that it is artificially made tunnel because there is a half-circle ceiling.
Everywhere we look, we see conglomerate, a natural accumulation of stones, sand and pebbles.
And this tunnel is completely filled up with this material.
What happens with conglomerate when it dries out? It starts to fall down. So what we see, the fill-up material, is nothing more than the ceiling that has dropped through the years down, leaving an open space at the top, what we saw there. So it's very simple.
Our crew member believes the tunnels were filled by nature and time. Sam thinks otherwise, and maybe he's right. Some things in the tunnels have to be man-made. As an example, he shows us his ancient walls.
They built the wall. We call it a dry wall because there is no binding material between them. Here we can see a big dry wall, and this wall blocked off 3 side tunnels. We can see once we open one dry wall and one tunnel that the whole network of the other tunnels open up.
These walls are obviously man-made. Sam thinks they were used to block off a big secret. Our crew member Bart has a different explanation.
I can imagine when you are digging there and you are several hundred meters from the entrance, you have your side tunnels where you see they're filling it up with material, and also water that's dropping down and is taking all those materials into your main entrance. So what do? You block them off. No drywall went up to the ceiling. So what do you do to prevent water taking all that material out of your tunnel? You put a wall to keep the material in. So that's my solution for the drywalls. We're talking about some centuries, no longer.
According to Sam, the tunnels are ancient and they're connected to the pyramids.
These tunnels lead in the direction which is opposite to the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun.
For Sam, the tunnels are built by ancients.
The tunnels were not built during the Middle Age kingdom. It was not built by the ancient Romans. It wasn't built by ancient Greeks or by Illyrian tribes. It was built much, much before that. So we really made a sensational discovery just by the tunnels alone. Now, a year ago, this was all filled up with the fill material.
While enlarging the tunnels, Sam and his team found several stones. He believes they're special.
And we discovered this stone block with some very interesting features. It looks like relief, and it seems like it's pointing to this direction. Over there, there is another tunnel. For the ancient people, the stone would show places where they could find the water with energy, very potent activities. Below this stone, there is an underground water.
A special stone above underground water. Nice theory, but we couldn't escape thinking Sam theorized a lot. The deeper we went into the tunnels, the more meaning Sam started giving to the stones.
What we have here is a piece of stone which is shaped as a human eye. 3 lines on the top, so it's like letter Y, something like traces of the animal pawn. We have hills, forests, rivers, and other features of the topography of Visoko Valley. From the very top, we took a sample for the analysis. Their conclusion is that this material is man-made material.
Multi-layered stones constructed with cracks like the letter Y, shaped like the topography of the Pyramid Valley? Or an eye?
As a geologist, what I saw was absolutely perfectly natural.
Our crew member isn't impressed either.
In geological terms, they call it boulders. Boulders are big stones, small stones, big stones, that travel with glaciers and move around the country for kilometers. So they happen to be there, and if you noticed well, they are not really inside the tunnel. There's a small part that's coming up in the tunnel, the rest is in, let's say, a chamber. Well, dig the chamber and you have your stone.
In some cases, boulders are simply boulders.
Sam has made a statement that it is surely no mine and that even there is no minerals or iron or copper to be found there. Well, I think he's wrong, because the Visoko region is well known for its mining of iron. The biggest steel company on earth, ArcelorMittal, has its headquarters in Bosnia. I think they were digging there, probably for iron.
One stone has Sam's special attention.
We call this block ceremonial altar, probably one of the oldest ceremonial altars on the planet. Let's make a parallel with the Stonehenge in England. You have huge blocks. Why they are there? Because that place is very potent energy place, because there is a lot of underground waters. Same thing here.
Stonehenge or not, is there any proof of the makers of the tunnels? Sam believes there is.
We discovered some engraved lines and probably some type of the symbols. It looks like an arrow. Over here, the symbols are all over the surface.
The inscriptions of the megaliths are fantasy made for me. They're just a bunch of stripes and arrows and letters that, for me, it can be written there by soldiers during the Second World War. It can be done by children.
Maybe it's only hearsay, but I heard suggestions. Some of this so-called writing was not even there when they first went into the tunnel, and that it was added later, more or less in very recent times.
That's nothing that's left behind by an old civilization, surely not.
There are certainly no hieroglyphs. Still, Sam believes it's a forgotten language. He even has proof this very old civilization existed.
One of the molds that's been used in the distant past, probably to make some of the tools. On the other side, we have another piece of mold that was used in the past. We discovered this interesting sandstone tool. We can see that it perfectly fits the human hand. So it's possible that it was used as a knife or some type of the tool. Obviously, it looks like a human foot. Does it give us the size of the humans who lived at that time? We are finding a lot of pieces, like this one here. Possibly it shows the head with an eye, or maybe it's just our imagination. But sometimes you have to have imagination so you can move forward.
Obviously, the dating is very important. The evidence suggests at this moment in time that we are confronted with a civilization which predates 2000 BC, likely 4000 BC.
We got a layer of stalagmite. And this is this white layer. You can date it. The age is 5080 years. So the tunnels already existed 5080 years ago.
Precisely at that moment in time, those thousands of years, that in Bosnia there was the civilization known as Old Europe, which had an influence on the Ubaid period, for example, of Sumer. It's a culture who was intimately linked with the Minoan civilization. It is literally Old Europe. It is the first bit of Europe which has been labeled a civilization. The answer to the Bosnian pyramid could simply be that Old Europe also now should be known as a pyramid building culture, whereas previously, before Sam's discovery, this wasn't the case.
Ancient artifacts, or just pieces of stone that get extra shape by Sam's imagination. He certainly has no problem seeing things in shapes.
Maybe this was the first Bosnian boomerang.
Even when joking about a stone boomerang, everything he says fits perfect in the bigger plan of there being an ancient pyramid building culture. Our crew still has no idea where to spend their half day off. The tunnel network is large, but probably not challenging enough for another visit. They still have time to think. Sam's tour isn't over yet, and he has several more places to show. The next stop is the Pyramid of the Sun. Sam believes this pyramid is built with material out of the tunnels we've just seen.
They were finding all this material underground and in the river beds. They moved them in the baskets, and at the very site they would mix them with the binding materials. It was a huge construction feat though, but very simplified comparing to the building of the pyramids in Mexico or in Egypt.
I see no resemblance between the structures, the pyramids in Egypt and the pyramids in Mexico on the one hand and the pyramids in Bosnia on the other hand. All we have in Bosnia are natural hills that vaguely look like pyramids to some people's eyes.
All these hills, natural hills, are made from clay and sandstone. So they were using the clay, mixing it with the water, and then heat up at 500 degrees Celsius. Ancient Romans knew that 2000 years ago, and they were using clay as the binding material for their Colosseum and huge structures in ancient Rome.
Sam sent pieces of pyramid blocks to a research facility.
They told us that this is a man-made concrete, 3 times of better quality than what we make today.
And the reason they're harder and stronger and more compact than any concrete that we can make today is because they were actually formed under natural conditions millions of years ago.
Sam revealed several places with huge blocks, but it's still unsure if the whole area is covered.
Why do you make or you dig for a wall of a pyramid and going that way? So I didn't get that. So I thought at that moment you're digging at places where it goes best for you. Because if you dig consistently up, there ain't any material or other material. So that's what I thought, but still I wasn't sure.
We are confronted with not so much lost civilizations, but civilizations which were either forgotten or whose importance we have really failed to realize.
On the west side of the hill, Sam found proof he wants to show us.
A local landlord purchased this property and he started removing part of the surface. What he found out was that the surface is paved. The pavement lasts until the moment the causeway touches the pyramid. At the place where the causeway touches the pyramid, we have the change of the material. We are going to the concrete blocks.
If I'm going to build a pyramid, and I'm going to build pyramid walls, I will start with this material and I will continue with that material. And not 20 meters from, oh hey, we stop with that, make sure we're gonna make it like that. So I really don't get that.
It was very frustrating for me to walk around the so-called pyramids with Sam. In every case, he points to structures, he absolutely definitively asserts to me, and I'm a geologist, he asserts to me that they cannot be natural, that they have to be artificial, they have to be man-made.
Sam and our crew reach the top of the Pyramid of the Sun.
You realize the commanding position it has. You can see the whole valley of the town of Visoko. The Bosnian kings used to rule the area from this very place.
Because the top and its surroundings are declared a cultural heritage, Sam is prohibited to dig any further. That didn't stop him to make another remarkable discovery.
On this very place, in the radius of 2 meters, we have measured the energy beam that's coming from either the middle of the pyramid or from the underneath of the pyramid.
The pyramid seems to be built on top of a substantial body of water. So we have an accumulating effect, and that obviously is going to create some form of energy. Second is the fact that obviously it's a pyramid shape, and that this is also going to cause some kind of effect.
According to Sam, this strange beam can be found at another place in the pyramid complex. A bit further in the valley, Sam believes there's an ancient tumulus. A tumulus is a man-made grave mound that looks like a concentric hill. The most famous one is Silbury Hill in England, but the world harvests many more of them.
Something is hidden underneath the artificial hill. We discovered that the actual structure is 61 meters high, with most of it underground.
At the spot, before even being there, I saw a second hill that was matched together with his tumuli. So tumuli is standing alone mostly. You have your tumuli and there's nothing around.
What we discovered were the huge megalithic blocks. This block is 4 meters 40 centimeters long. Its weight is almost 24 tons. The biggest block ever built in any ancient temple or structure in the Balkan region.
I looked at them carefully. You can see the stratigraphy, you can see the sedimentology.
On the surface, we have about 10 centimeters of texture, which is identical to the texture on some of the sandstone blocks on the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon. We concluded that these were the same builders and probably the same time of building. Clay again was brought here and used as the construction material. Below the clay, we have another layer in some type of the concrete material. Below that, again clay, and then we have another layer of stone blocks.
They're not artificial tumuli, they're not artificial structures.
This is a hill. It's layers. Layers of sandstone, layers of clay, layers of sandstone. It's the geology of Bosnia.
Sam is aware of the geology in the area.
All these hills, natural hills, are made from clay and sandstone.
Still, for the Bosnian pyramid discoverer, it's a tumulus with extra secrets yet to be discovered.
Sometimes people simply misidentify things, misidentify natural structures, natural hills as man-made structures.
You have to be really focused on things that you want to see.
Yes, it is hard to believe, but it is only hard to believe because really we have never been confronted with the reality of the fact that in 4000 BC there really were people living in that region who were sophisticated and developed. And when you know that that is the case, then really what you're only doing is slotting in the fact that this wasn't just any civilization, but that this was a civilization which also knew how to do and build pyramids.
We did geological core drilling exactly on this place. This is the very top and the center of the tumuli. We were getting the concrete samples out. So we had the huge concrete block. From the 56th to 59th meter, it was a hollow space, most probably the chamber.
Yes, there will be a hollow space, but no chamber, surely no chamber.
We should get to the chamber and uncover the secret of the tumuli.
The tumulus doesn't convince our crew member. Yet, the question, this being a hoax, isn't fully answered. Sam is most probably wrong about the tunnels, the tumulus, and even the Pyramid of the Sun. But the Pyramid of the Moon still had to reveal its secrets.
You can see that there is a triangular face. You put the compass to it, it's perfect west. To the left, perfect north. On the top, we can see the flat area, the plateau.
The first time our crew member sees this view, along with Sam's explanation, his hopes of finding real ancient structures raised high up.
If you don't have seen pyramid behind me, I think you need glasses.
We are at the foothill of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon. We have discovered this beautiful terrace. The terrace is built from the sandstone plates. They are all of different size. And we have the same technology in Peru.
Whereas other people were seeing artificiality, I saw, as a geologist, nothing but natural stone.
We have a terrace which goes around the pyramid, and from the west side it connects to the south side, and it climbs up to the top of the pyramid.
If this is a real terrace, it's certainly strangely built. It's tilted.
Why on earth would someone make a path like that? You have to walk not straight up to walk on it. So at that moment I said, this is wrong. This is natural.
First, here where I'm standing, we can see some type of the step. 7 meters away, there is another step. Also on the other side, there is another step.
I'm telling you now that it's not every 7 meters. It's a story. It can be 6 meters 80 and 7 meters 20.
So we have these little steps. So just imagine, in a case of rain, the water would come here and it would go inside, 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 radially.
Earth is shifting in that direction. So it's a little crack, and you get your stairs effect, but it's pure geology, pure tectonics.
Very possible that we have underground water tank or a huge water reservoir. By keeping the water in the pyramid, you have a healing water. We are approximately halfway to the top of this pyramid. We have uncovered the section with the beautiful sandstone plates and blocks.
So we went further up, and this time it was the concrete-like pathway. There again we had those blocks from 20 centimeters thick, looking like the concrete we know from now, no pebbles, no sandstone. Oh, why do you make a pathway starting with sandstone and then go to your concrete? So it doesn't fit the theory.
We have straight edges, 9 degrees corners, obviously man-made. Somebody cut them, transported them, and then put them here to build a terrace. Why did they do that? I don't know.
I really was baffled. I couldn't figure out. It was either incredible ignorance or downright miscommunication, misinterpretation, or another possibility is it's simply a fraud and a hoax.
One of the criticisms which has been given to Sam is that this is a scam, that this might be something which really is there to attract visitors. There are easy ways of doing it, and it definitely doesn't have all the scientific evidence behind it if it were to be a scam.
When you go with a pathway like that around the pyramid to the top, so we saw the first pathway was going that way, and that second pathway, the concrete-like, he went like that. So, okay. It starts with your sandstone plate that is consistent all the way, but through the years it's drying out. Also tectonics are moving, and sandstone plates are a little bit like stone, so they crack. And you have, yes, you get your sharp edges. Also by pushing upwards, they come apart.
We have had intelligent humans, Homo sapiens sapiens, for 35,000 years here. Now, can we imagine that during that period, in one period of time, people would develop their technology in such a level that they could build the pyramids? Yes, we can imagine that.
Sam doesn't take our camera team to the top of the Pyramid of the Moon. That part is a restricted zone. So now our crew knows where to go on their spare day. Before they can go to the mysterious top of the Pyramid of the Moon, Sam wants to show them another tunnel system.
To my right is the river Bosna, the longest and most important river for this country. This country is called Bosna. The significance of this river is exactly the same like the river Nile for Egypt and the African continent. The entrance to the tunnel is here. We have two tunnels. One goes to the left in the direction of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon. One goes straight in the direction of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. The distance from here to the Sun Pyramid is only 1 kilometer. The KTK tunnel is different than the Ravne tunnel. The material is different. We can see marl and clay, no conglomerate. Here is one of the galleries within the KTK tunnel. This is structurally stable. On the ceiling is one continuous plate, which tells us about the abilities of the ancient builders to come to the best natural ceilings, or it might be an artificial plate.
Repeatedly ignored was the simplest explanation, that they're simply natural.
The KTK tunnel did indeed look like a natural cave. Sam wants to show us something they found in the river.
We have discovered the fraction of stones, and we were able to see that the stone is shaped. Is it part of the stone column or stone wheel? The time will show. The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is in this direction.
The KTK tunnel is the last thing Sam showed us. He doesn't take our crew to the top of the Pyramid of the Moon. The top is a forbidden zone. Going there alone is not advised because the area still contains bombs and mines from the war. At risk of their own lives, the crew decides to take a look anyway. They choose the path they were explicitly warned for.
We staan op stukjes die we van Sam niet te zien gekregen hebben. We hebben heel veel problemen met hetgeen we gemerkt hebben op de piramide van de maan. De theorie van Sam is dat die dus krankelt in een stijgingspercentage van 8%. Het eerste dat we hier ontdekken is dat die 8% compleet de mist ingaat. Nu, het kan altijd te wijten zijn aan tektonische activiteit, dat je daar beweging krijgt, maar dan zo kun je dus 1001 verhalen gaan opditsen om het toch in het plaatje te laten passen. We zien duidelijk een splitsing tussen twee blokken. Die sluiten zo perfect aan dat die onmogelijk gestapeld kunnen zijn. Er is dus gevormd door de natuur, waar dat we hier de twee lagen ontdekken die we bij de voorstelling van Sam niet te zien gekregen hebben. Minder duidelijk, maar toch in dit geval een duidelijke dikte, maar duidelijk verschillende lagen. Nu is dit niet ideaal om te tonen als een tweede terras, omdat het dus afbrokkelt.
So the terraces Sam shows are carefully chosen. But how were they formed?
Water zou kunnen gezorgd hebben voor het oppervlak dat we nu te zien krijgen. En ik denk dat daar eigenlijk weinig twijfel over is. Miljoenen jaren later zou de omgeving hier door tektonische activiteit omhoog gedrukt kunnen zijn, wat die barsten verklaart in de zandsteen. When walking towards the top, we saw some spots where they started digging but stopped because there was nothing special to find. We found some spots where you can see sandstone that was eroded. Naar schatting zitten we zo op ongeveer 10 tot 15 meter van de top van de Bosnische piramide van de maan. Die is ginder. What I saw there was ribbled sandstone. Ribbled sandstone can only be formed by shallow waters. That layer was pure natural and had to be somewhere some million years ago or so what, had to be in shallow waters to be formed. When we went upwards, there were many spots where they have started to dig. We also found one spot, and if there's one, there are probably more, where they have done probes. If I want to make a hill like a pyramid, I would go just that way. Can it be useful or not? Is it useful? Okay, we start digging. If it isn't what we like to see, we stop digging and go somewhere else. And moving upwards and upwards to the top, it came clearer and clearer that this is a natural hill we're walking on. We're not walking on a pyramid.
Our crew finally arrives at the top. They hope to unravel the mystery of the Bosnian pyramids. There is only one problem.
It was forbidden.
Luckily, no one is there. What our crew discovers can only be summarized in one word.
Unbelievable, because nature was in front of us. It was waving at us. Hello, I'm nature. What we saw was sandstone plates, mostly sandstone plates, mixed up with conglomerate, with concrete, all together in one spot. You could say it's paved, but that's how nature makes it. Pushing on those layers give you cracks. It's natural.
Our crew member is certain this isn't a pyramid. No builder would use this variety of styles to construct the plateau of a pyramid. That simply doesn't make any sense. And although Sam says tectonics aren't involved, we find proof that says otherwise.
Dit is de top van de Bosnische heuvel van de maan. Wat wij zien zijn terug afzettingsgesteenten en het resultaat van tektoniteit die hier duidelijk te zien is. Dus beschouw eigenlijk een beetje deze heuvel als tektonische activiteit die de heuvel naar boven gebracht heeft. Zie je een mooi voorbeeld, ook de barsten worden groter door het omhoog drukken. Dus we kijken eigenlijk neer op een heuvel.
Our crew members' last hope of this being a pyramid is gone.
You start digging, you get your first layer. If it's not beautiful enough or not thick enough, you just continue to dig. And a half meter or a meter deeper you will find the layer that fits what you want.
They are carving a natural hill into what superficially looks like the shape of a pyramid, and they're doing this in the 21st century.
On the top of the Pyramid of the Moon, the process of modern pyramid making is clearly visible. They simply make them look like man-made structures. And however you look at this, they really are man-made.
What they're doing is not excavating, but they're actually carving the hills to look like pyramids. The people I was dealing with, at least at the higher levels, knew perfectly well these were natural features, but they had put themselves into a corner. They had interpreted them maybe prematurely, maybe in good faith initially, as artificiality, as artificial features, and now they were boxed into a corner and they could not back out. So they did everything they could to try to justify that these were artificial features, even if they're actually natural.
Sam claims his work is fully backed by science and imagination.
You have to have imagination so you can move forward.
Since he found proof, our crew member doesn't believe the pyramids and its terraces or blocks really are what Sam claims they are. Neither does he think the tunnels are ancient. The KTK tunnel is just a natural cave, and the tumulus isn't really a tumulus. It's just a typical Bosnian hill.
He's a beautiful man. I wish him all the luck in what he's doing. I really mean that. because he's believing in his project, he's believing in pyramids.
Sam will proceed, so time will eventually solve this riddle.
The bottom line is, for me, that there are no pyramids there at all.
I think really the important thing is to find out how long it is going to take him before he has a definitive answer, really something which will convince the world that what he has found truly is a pyramid. And I think we're probably looking there towards the region of another 3 to 5 years.
So I'm going to stay here till the end, till we have a huge archaeological park with the millions of tourists coming here and with the revised theory about the pyramids in the world science.
The final question arises. Are there ancient tunnels and pyramids in Bosnia? Or is it the biggest hoax in history?
It's imagined in the mind in one man.
There are a lot of hills in Bosnia which looks like pyramids.
I don't know. I think no. I'm not sure, but no.
There is no reason why to believe that they exist. There is no even one reason.
But they are real.
I think they're not real. I don't know why, but I don't believe.
I think some things are true or can be true.
What do you think about the pyramids? There's no proof it isn't real, but there's also no proof that it is real, so it's still in the gray zone.
I think is bullshit.
You go looking. Go looking.
Okay.
This project will never be stopped.